Hey, folks, there you are. Great to see you on this Friday. Non-scheduled live, just coming out to you. Um, I got a couple of things going on in my head, and I just want to, clear the rafters, keep things going. And if the stuff I share is, of any value to you or you like it, share it, subscribe to it, send it to friends, whatever you got to do. Lots been going on. I've been busy. And so we noticed. So let's put this in perspective. I have the Mañana No Mas podcast. I am the co-host on WP Tonic. I am the co-host on Membership Machine Show. I am the co-host of Whose WordPress Agency Is This Anyway, which is a podcast we do through the WP Minute, me and Toby. I also host the Lifter LMS Office Hours Mastermind Call, and I also co-host the Ask Us Anything call with Lifter LMS. And so got a lot going on. Pardon me. Got a lot going on. Also, in the last few weeks, I had a gravel race that I did. That's a bicycle thing. So I had a bicycle gravel race that I did. That was last weekend. The weekend before that, we drove out to Colorado to visit my son. The week before that, I can't remember. There was something going on. And then we had 4th of July and stuff like that. Here's my point. Life gets busy. Sometimes we lose touch. Life gets busy. Sometimes we lose touch. And then it's up to us to make it's a decision. It's a decision. Do you want to re-engage? Do you want to be back into things? So, for instance, I go to Crosspoint Church. So I entitled this, Are You Still Going to Crosspoint? I was at an entrepreneur meetup last night. Someone that I know in the community that I cherish. She's a wonderful person. She also goes to the same church that I go to. And she says, "Oh, hey, it's so good to see you. I miss seeing your wife, blah, blah, blah." The normal pleasantries. And then she goes, "Are you guys still going to Crosspoint?" Ouch. Ouch. Yes, we still go to Crosspoint. I'm still very much involved with the church. In fact, I volunteer on Monday nights with the college age group. But here's another thing. That's been on break for the summer. It is that group, that organization, that whatever you want to call it, that mission. Let's call it a mission. Oh, that's so good. Ethiopian fresh ground coffee. It's really good. But that mission that I'm in, that college age thing that I volunteer with, that aligns with the schedule for the college. So when the college is out, we're out. So I haven't been at that for a couple of weeks either. So it is like being unplugged. It is like finding that distance. It is a separation, right? And it's so ironic because when I think about things and how life works, it was about a week ago I found this new app called Iron FM. This isn't going to be a whole talk about religion, by the way. So rest assured, it's not going to be about religion. But when I found this app called Iron FM, it's an app, like not a radio station. It's a radio station, but it's an application in your phone. And so you go and you download the app Iron FM, and now I get to hear rock and roll Christian music. Some people say, what's the big deal about that? Well, sometimes, especially if you're a dude for some reason, if you're a dude, it's like, oh, man, this is like so sugary, so sweet, like the stuff that's on Christian radio sometimes. And you know what? I like rock and roll, but I want to have a better influence verbally with my rock and roll. So I found this FM thing. So I don't have to go and search like, I'm old, right? I don't have to go like search Striper or Petra, or like I don't have to go search these things out and try and come up with my own playlist. I listen to Iron FM, and it's coming through. And I just found that a couple weeks ago or early last week, whatever. How ironic that I found that, and I've been enjoying that and listening to, this Christian rock and being rejuvenated in my own personal walk. Reading scripture, reading the Bible, my own personal walk, everything, me and my wife praying together, like everything's great. And then you run into somebody in public and they go, "Are you still going to Crosspoint?" And like I said, it's not a bad question. They haven't seen me in weeks. So not a bad question, but it's one that's like, ow, like is life taking over on things that are important? Is life being so urgent that it's creeping in on the important? That's kind of that question. And then I take analysis, right? Did I have to do the gravel ride last Sunday? I didn't have to, but I wanted to, and I have no regrets for doing it. I am fat and I need to participate in as many activities as I can to try and burn these calories. And because I don't have the willpower to like not eat the stuff I want to eat. Let's just be honest. I really enjoy food and I really enjoy a good cold beer sometimes, more than sometimes. I really enjoy, a nice adult beverage over some ice. And so since I don't want to give that stuff up and I'm getting older, I have to be active. I got to go do stuff. So time away leads to disconnection. Let me give you another example of disconnection. I broke my toe about 3 months ago and I stopped going to the gym. It just hurt like the dickens walking and stuff. I didn't bicycle for a month or 6 weeks. Like my foot was killing me. And it was a pinky toe. It's so amazing, like something so small on your body. I almost thought, well, if I just cut the toe off, maybe it won't hurt anymore. I mean, how much do I need a pinky toe? If it was a big toe, I get it, but it was a pinky toe. Hurt like the dickens. And so, no, I wasn't going to go to the gym. I just like, why am I going to put myself through this? Well, now what happens? 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks goes by. Now we're talking months. I haven't been there in 2.5 months, maybe 2.5, maybe even 3 months. I didn't mark it on the calendar, so I don't know for sure. And I'm cheap. I go to Planet Fitness. I love having the black card at Planet Fitness because when I travel in the camper van life, when I am traveling in the van, I can stop and work out and get a shower anywhere, right? With my Planet Fitness card, I can get a workout in and get a shower anywhere on my journeys. And so I really find value in keeping that card, whether I'm going to the gym every day or not. Now, I hadn't been there. It's months. I'm being honest with you. It's months. And it shows. It shows. Again, I'm getting back to that activity thing. I had to do that gravel ride because I needed an activity. I had to do it. But I hadn't done like upper body stuff in a long time. So this isn't here anymore. Like it might be there in size, but it's not there in definition in fitness. So got to get back on the horse. I go to the gym today. It is completely different. The room that used to be the 30-minute circuit workout is now this giant 360 cage thing that you can climb on and do stuff on. Looks really cool. I've never used one. So I'm like, wow, that thing is pretty impressive. Where my bicycles used to be, they're not there anymore. There's some other kind of new machine there. They got all these new machines in that when you are pumping your reps, it counts your reps and times you. That wasn't there before. It was all over. Like the free weights area has changed. A spot where it used to be like machines for core is now like free weights for squats. Like they used to have what I would call a squat rack, but it was like it was like the free weights racks. It was like the universal free weight things. You could do, they had benches, so you could put benches in there. So you could squat, you could bench press, you could incline press, you could do tricep stuff in there. And they were like cages with free weights and bars. What I would think of as being like a squat rack, like, because it had the safety locks, you could turn the bar and it would lock in, and then you could push it up, lock it out, and then do your stuff, and then lock it in, and then get out from underneath it. To me, that was like a squat rack, right? But now, where the core machines were, they've got actual squat racks where it's the cages with the pegs, and you walk the bar up, and you put the bar down, and then you can walk away, and then when you want to get it, you got the bar, and then you do your squats. And I noticed they have these giant pads in the floor that run alongside, like perpendicular to the squat rack. And so what is that? That's like Well, someone loses control of that bar and drops a weight, it's going to fall on those giant, like, neoprene or compressed rubber pads, rather than bounce off the floor and hurt somebody, I assume. Just my guess. I'm not an expert. I'm not in the gym industry. Uh, but it's like, okay, hey, this is really cool. It's completely built out. What's my point? My point is, I hadn't been there in months. I walk in and the place is completely upturned and different. So what do? Do I walk around silly and stupid and unoriented and waste my time? No, no. I took a tour of the place. I worked out on a couple of machines. And then I went to the owner of the gym, owner of the franchise, whatever you want to call it. He's a super nice guy here in Hutchinson. So I went up and I said, hey, man, place looks different. It looks really good. You guys did a great job. I really, I like the remodel. Give me a quick tour. Tell me what I need to know. And he said, oh, the bike that you liked, right? Because there's a bike that I used all the time. I said, is that bike gone? He goes, no, it's been relocated. It's in this row all the way at the end. It's there for you to use. And he knew that was one of my favorite things. So that's there. We still have the massage tables. We still have the tanning things. I don't use the tanning thing, by the way. Restrooms are still where they were. Like, we didn't rearrange the whole building, but the machines are different. The rooms have different themes now, and the machines operate differently. And so if you're going to do circuit training, it's here now. If you want to do that cage thing, the guy's like, I run a class on that cage thing. It's got like 12 stations, and we do that. People love it. We do 3 reps of the 12 stations. So he's like, so if you want to jump into that, just let me know. What does that do? That effort of finding him and having that conversation, it's the easy button. It's the easy button I'm always telling people not to push, right? Like when I'm joking around about artificial intelligence, but it's the easy button for relationships. It realigns things and puts things back. This weekend, if we go to church this weekend, I'm going to for darn sure, say hi to the pastor, hi to the lady that's in charge of services, Sarah. One of my favorite pastors moved, right? So Ben Ludwig moved away. And if you follow Ben on LinkedIn, or you don't follow Ben Ludwig on LinkedIn, you should. He is a business consultant, leadership guru. We're in similar spaces, but super nice guy and very talented. Plays guitar, sings, does all kinds of stuff. And he's a fellow believer. Great guy. Anyway, he moved, right? And so there's a new guy in his space. I've already had a few conversations with him, but I'll make sure that when I see him on Sunday, we do the eye contact and handshake thing. Why do I do that? Because I want to shortcut that reacclimation. I want to make sure that those relationships are rekindled or reconnected, and then it's like there wasn't that gap. Have you ever had a friend where you could go for a year without talking to that friend, and then they call, you call, something happens, someone in the family dies, and you go back and then you reconnect somehow, and you have a quick conversation, or you meet for a beer, or you go out for lunch, and it's like that time never passed. It's like you're instantly going, oh, remember the time we drove that Camaro to New Jersey? Like you're just you're immediately back in the space where the relationship is strong enough to have those gaps, to have that gap of separation. Folks, that's what I strive for in the things that are important. My fitness, my walk in my faith, my personal relationships. So if someone comes up to me and says, oh, do you still ride bicycles? That's going to be a verbal cue to me that there's been too much of a gap, and I need to make sure that I fix that. Do you still go to church? That's a verbal cue to me. There's been too much of a gap. I need to fix that. If my wife says, hey, you just feel kind of distant lately. Ouch, right? That's a big one. If you're married, if your spouse is like, you just seem kind of distant lately. Oof, ouch. A verbal cue. It's time to reconnect. It's time to put that back on track. And so I know it's summer. I know we get busy. I've been busy. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to take a look at things and consciously reconnect. Don't just go through the motions. Reconnect. When I'm consulting with my customers, my clients, the businesses I work with, I'm always stressing that if we focus on relationships, the transactions will occur naturally. I'll say it again for the people in the back. If we focus on the relationships, the transactions will happen naturally. And that is true in all facets. So if I am gaming my life from the idea of what's in it for me, like, how do I get this? How do I get that? How do I get people to buy this? How do I get people to come to this thing? How do I get people to like, subscribe, and follow? How do I, if I'm always worried about that transaction, that dopamine hit of a successful transaction, I'm going to lose track of the relationships. I'm going to forget about the relationship. I'm going to forget that it's a valuable two-way communication avenue, street, bypass, whatever. Here's the deal. If I focus on the relationship and just adding value and enjoying the connection that I have with others, the transactions will occur naturally. That's why it's so important when people say, do the things you love and you'll never work a day in your life. First off, I don't believe that. That's hogwash. But the spirit of that saying is, if you are working with people you want to work with, doing things that you enjoy doing, success is going to come more naturally and less forced because you're able to focus on the relationship of it instead of on just the outcome of it. Oh my goodness, look at me go. Hey, speaking of things, it has been a remarkable week for Mañana No Mas. I just want to toss this out here. And when I say Mañana No Mas, I mean Mañana No Mas, the company, and the personal brand that is Kurt Von Onen. I was invited to be a guest on LMS Cast with Chris Badgett this week, and we did that yesterday. We just had a conversation about leadership. That, to me, I am going to take that episode and I'm going to promote the living crud out of it, because Chris did a masterful job of kind of exploiting my strengths, engaging me in a conversation, talking about leadership, communication, and how to build those things, both corporately and privately. So I'm going to promote the crud out of that show. Get ready to see excerpts or clips from that all over the place. The other thing was Mañana No Mas, the podcast, has released 2 new interviews just this week. One is with Deb Cryer. Deb Cryer is a cancer survivor. She's still diagnosed with cancer, unfortunately, but she has a project called Trying Not to Die, tryingnottodie.live. She also has her own business podcast. She is a business person. Really fun conversation I had with Deb. The other one is Diana Fritz. Diana Fritz is another cancer survivor. She calls herself a cancer thriver. She has been a CEO, CTO, COO, all kinds of things. She is she's a mother. She's an author. She's got books out there. I mean, super fun ladies to spend time with. And the timing couldn't be better, because here I am this week interviewing 2 cancer survivors, while at the same time promoting that I have just re-upped for my 8th year in the Great Cycle Challenge, where I ride a bicycle for 400 miles in a month and try to raise $500 for kids with cancer. And so if you follow me on my socials, you'll see posts about the Great Cycle Challenge, about the podcasts, about the conversation I had with Chris. And the last couple of Whose WordPress Agency Is This Anyway? The energy that I get from Toby Crines, my co-host on that show, is phenomenal. There's something magical that Matt was able to put together when he recruited the 2 of us for this show. Matt from WP Minute. So when Matt from WP Minute recruited both me and Toby Crines, we didn't know each other. He just said, hey, you guys get to know each other and make this show and do with it whatever you want. I mean, it was kind of like, you guys just do your thing. I got to tell you, like the first episode, I was like, well, this is pretty good. And the second episode, I was like, well, that's a little bit better. And then I was kind of wondering, like, how do we keep that going? How do we keep that going? We just recorded our 14th episode, and I've got 7 published and put out already. But folks, I got to tell you, it feels to me like each episode is getting better and better and better. And I think it's the It's the work and the energy that Toby is putting into it, and it's amplifying my own thoughts and energies as well. Toby's great with like show notes and ideas and transitions. He's got a good sense of humor, and bonus, he's a fan of cake. He has a cake tribute band. So, folks, this has just been an awesome couple of months. And I go back to the theme of the call. When someone says, "Hey, are you still doing this?" If it's important, get conscious about it and make the reconnection and make it happen. Here's another thing I didn't say yet, and I'll say it and I'll close out with this. If it's not important, and you really are like, why did I do that? Or why did I put so much effort into that? Or maybe I should stick a pin in that and let it sit for a little bit longer. That's okay too. That's okay too. Like if someone were to say to me, hey, I didn't see you at the skateboard park lately, I'd go, skateboarding really for me? I mean, I kind of like bicycles. And I go, well, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that for a while. I'll see you around though. I'll see you at whatever. I'll see you at Boy Scouts, whatever. It's okay to disconnect from things that aren't adding value or that you're not passionate about. It's totally okay to disconnect from things. The point I was making with this today was when something comes along that you consider important, but you've been disconnected from, and somebody calls it out, that's your verbal cue to go, oh man, do I still consider that important? And do I need to make a conscious reconnection? And then take it and run with it. I mean, those to me are gifts. Those are gifts from the universe that tell us, like I said, I'm a person of faith. So it's not from the universe. It's from God himself. God is using people around me to point me in the right direction and to get refocused and to become productive and efficient and proficient and profitable and all those things that help me raise my family. So folks, good times. I got a ton of work to do. I got to go. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Enjoy the weekend. I plan on getting back out, pedaling a few miles this weekend, even in the heat and humidity. I plan on getting out and getting my exercise and burning those calories. I pray the same for you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.